there's lots of people involved in the sound creation, and there's a lot of different things that happen. You get recordings done outside, you get recordings done here in the Foley, and then you got a lot of people working on the floor creating sound and implementing sound in game, because I think that one of the biggest challenge in sound for video games is also the implementation of sound, because if you're working on a movie, you have a kind of a 2D situation where it happens, it starts, it goes, and it finishes. Game is interactive, so you're working a 3D world where objects move in a way that you can't really control. They go, and the player controls it. It makes it go slow, fast, back and forth. He can play that sound over and over for 1,000 times. Now, if I have a sound in a movie of this guy pulling a lever to open a door, I can just basically go. There you go, I have my lever sound. And you're sitting in a theater and you listen, you hear it, it just kind of goes by and it creates an impression on you and it works. Now, if you're playing a game and you need to open that door 5, 10, 25, 30 times, you need that sound to be really, really tight. It needs to work really well, and it needs to probably work in different ways. You can go from one side to the other, maybe you can open it slowly, fast, maybe you can just run through it, maybe you can crash that door, maybe you can do all these things. So every single object that you meet in a 3D world, in a video game, needs to be thought out, back and forth, slow and fast, and it needs to work really well, because the player is not just going to get an impression and then say, oh, I heard this sound somewhere. He's going to, hey, let's do this again. Oh, and he can do it 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, and then you need that sound to work fine. So that's where most of the challenge lies. Assassin's Creed 3 was a big challenge the whole way, because contrary to what we think, there's a long process. Was people say 3 years, 4 years. The actual production for most artists like me was during the last year before release. So and then the whole image and the animation and the movie part, everything comes together at the last minute. Now sound needs the final product to work, and so we needed to kind of guess what was coming the whole way, and then in the last few months, few weeks, we could have kind of put everything together. So this is where the challenge lies in the video game. We work for a long time, and then everything happens in the last minute. I was mentioning earlier, it's sometimes making the same sound over and over again is where a challenge lies also. And so we have this this part of the game where you can walk around tunnels and you're holding a lantern. I knew I had a lantern, dude. Well, I had a lantern here. I mean, but I've used this a few times in other games before, and I thought I needed to make a new sound for this lantern. And I was walking, I parked on the street next door, and I was walking in, and I saw this kind of old lantern light there lying in the garbage, and I thought, that's great. I picked it up, listened to it, pleased me, brought it in here, and created a whole mechanic of putting it down, grabbing it, running, walking with it, dropping it, picking it up, and this one lantern ended up being about 30 or 50 sounds in-game to create that impression that you're walking around with that lantern in your hand. So, and it's just like that. One morning I was walking down up to the studio and found this object on the street, and I thought, there you go, that'll be my lantern. Ubisoft Montreal is a great place to be. You'll hear all kinds of things in the industry of video game, that people are working really hard or having a lot of fun. They're both true. You'll hear that people are working like crazy hours and being treated like slaves, and you'll hear that they're having a lot of fun and it's the best job in the world. They're both true.
The chemical